Today, 19th June, Archangel Michael orders, the hidden truth you've been searching for is here. Open immediately before it's erased. The 19th of June is not just another day on the calendar. It is a divine checkpoint, a day etched in the fabric of heavenly time. This date, chosen and sealed in the celestial chambers long before you were born, holds within it a vibration of unveiling, a pulse of revelation, and a roar from the throne of God Himself. On this day, the trumpet of truth sounds, not softly, not subtly, but as a clarion call to those who have ears to hear. The angels lean in. Heaven stands at attention. The veil is lifting. Archangel Michael now descends, not in silence, but with the authority of heaven's armies. He comes not to entertain, not to soothe the curious, but to awaken the seekers, the watchers, the ones who have stared at closed doors and whispered, "There must be more." You who are reading these words, you are not here by chance. You were drawn, led, summoned by a frequency that resonates only with those who have long been hungering for what is real, for what is holy, for what was hidden. This message is not for everyone. Many will scroll past. Many will hear and dismiss. Many are still asleep, distracted, deceived. But not you. You have felt it, a stirring, a trembling in your spirit, a quiet unrest that told you something was coming. You have searched in silence. You have prayed in frustration. You have waited in stillness. And now, the heavens reply. There is a reason truth has felt elusive. The enemy, crafty and cunning, has worked endlessly to bury what was sacred. He has scattered fragments of your knowing across timelines and relationships, cloaking them in confusion, racing records, distorting memory. But even as the enemy plotted to erase, heaven preserved. What was hidden was not lost. What was silenced was not destroyed. And now, the sealed scroll opens. But there is a requirement, a posture of reception. This truth cannot be received by a mind busy with noise, nor by a heart hard with pride. You must be still. You must be open. You must be willing to let go of what you think you know to embrace what has always been. The angel of truth does not force. He invites. And only those willing to humble themselves before the divine timing of God will receive the full unveiling. This is your moment of spiritual alignment, a collision point between your questions and heaven's answers, a divine convergence of your earthly ache and a heavenly release. Archangel Michael stands at the gate, sword in hand, voice like thunder, eyes of fire. He has waited for you to be ready. And now, the hour strikes. The hidden truth you've longed for is not lost. It is here. But you must open your spirit fully or risk missing the unveiling that was always meant for you. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Hear me now, beloved one, for the heavens are not silent and the hour is not distant. On this night, June 19th, under a sky marked by divine sequence, the cry has gone forth from the throne of the Almighty, and Archangel Michael has been released on assignment. He does not come as a whisper but as a storm breaker. He does not ask for permission. He comes with orders from the Ancient of Days. And these orders, to deliver the hidden truth before it is erased forever. Eloque him now, not with fear, not with doubt, but with bold surrender. Archangel Michael, captain of heaven's armies, draw near. Unleash your sword of truth. Disrupt the shadows. Cut through every lie. Hover now over every listening soul, over the one reading these words who knows deep within this message is for me. You must open this before midnight. Yes, before midnight. For the hourglass is pouring, and time is not as it seems. There are truths assigned to specific seasons, portals of revelation that open only under the alignment of heaven's decree. If you delay, if you wait, if you scroll past, you risk missing the unlocking of what your soul has been crying out for in the dark. There is urgency in this word. There is fire in this moment. There is warfare over this very second. You were meant to see this now, and not a minute later. This is your moment. Let those words sink deep. This is your moment. Heaven has waited for your eyes to open. The angels who have walked beside you through trial, through torment, through confusion, they lean in now with breathless anticipation. They whisper among themselves, will they see it? Will they receive it? Will they finally know? You have been prepared for this. Every battle, every betrayal, every silent prayer you thought went unheard, it was shaping your eyes to see, your ears to hear, your spirit to recognize this sound, the sound of truth returning. Not everyone is chosen to see what you are seeing now. Understand that. This message is not meant for the masses. It is not broadcast from pulpits or shouted through speakers. It is whispered through the veil, delivered through fire, and caught only by those whose spirits are still enough to receive. You are seeing a truth that others will miss because they chose noise over knowing. But not you. Not you. You have felt the weight of unspoken questions. You have discerned the silence behind smiling faces. You have heard rumors in the spirit, echoes of something greater, something lost, stolen, forgotten. And now, Archangel Michael stands with scroll in hand, offering you what was hidden in plain sight. But listen, beloved, this truth is on the verge of being erased. The enemy, who has studied your steps and watched your awakening, is panicking. There are forces in motion right now, people, spirits, systems, that are attempting to cover what is about to be revealed. The war is not just against your progress, it is against your knowing. Because once you know, you cannot unknow. Once you see, you cannot unsee. And once the veil is torn, you cannot be controlled by illusion any longer. That's why this moment is so dangerous and so divine. Pause everything now. Put the world on hold. Silence your phone. Close your door. Still your racing thoughts. This is not the time for multitasking. This is not the time to listen halfway. Heaven has not gone to war over your life just for you to receive this casually. Take a deep breath. Inhale truth. Exhale fear. Breathe again. Now, open your spirit. Let go of resistance. Let go of needing to understand everything at once. Truth is not given to the mind first. It is delivered to the spirit, and only later does the mind catch up. Receive without hesitation. Receive without needing proof. Receive with holy reverence. For what is being offered is sacred, sealed, and strategic. This is not just a message. It is an activation. A prophetic moment that heaven marked for you, for now, for this intersection in your story. What you do with it will echo beyond tonight. What you carry after this moment will alter what comes next. Do not treat this lightly. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. You are being watched from the realm of glory. You are being tested for obedience. And what is unlocked tonight was fought for in realms you have never seen. Let this truth pierce you. Let it stir your soul. Let it bring to the surface what you tried to bury, because until you confront what was hidden, you cannot step into what is holy. The hidden truth is here, and it bears your name. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. And now we enter the part they never warned you about, the unraveling. The moment when the emotional weight you've been carrying begins to take shape in the spirit. You thought you were just tired. You thought it was just stress. You thought it was just life testing you again. But no, it was spiritual disruption. It was the mystery before the revelation. It was the hidden hand of war touching your atmosphere. You have felt it for months, haven't you? The silence that screams. The confusion that clings to your thoughts like a fog. The betrayal that came from lips you once trusted. The ghosting. The sudden distancing. The feeling of being watched, talked about, picked apart behind your back without ever receiving clarity to confront it. And yet you endured it all, quietly, inwardly. You stood in the center of storms without answers, and still you chose not to collapse. That choice did not go unnoticed in heaven. But hear me now. What you have been walking through was not madness. It was misdirection. A veil. A weapon sent to disarm your knowing. Because those aligned against your truth, knew something you didn't. They knew you were close to remembering. They knew you were awakening. They knew that if you ever caught sight of the full picture, you would become a force too powerful to contain. That's why you were emotionally rattled. That's why your mind felt under siege. That's why you experienced an avalanche of misunderstanding. Not because you failed, not because God abandoned you, but because the truth about you was about to rise. Let it settle into your soul. They know pieces, but not the whole story. They know fragments of your past, but not the purity of your calling. They remember moments of your weakness, but not the strength being built in the secret place. They heard rumors, but never encountered your anointing. They mocked the outer you because they feared the inner you. And that's where the disruption came in. You have felt like something was missing. A gnawing ache in your spirit. A longing for clarity that no sermon, no conversation, no affirmation could fill. You've laid awake at night, not just wondering what's happening, but why does it feel like I'm being undone from the inside out? It's because your soul has been crying for what was erased. Yes, erased. Not just hidden. Not just delayed. Erased. Born from your memory. Stripped from your conversations. Locked away in places you were told not to touch. You were conditioned to forget. Indoctrinated to remain silent. You were spiritually anesthetized. Taught to normalize spiritual numbness so you wouldn't dig deeper into what was really going on. But tonight, Archangel Michael releases the fire that reawakens. And fire, beloved, does not ask what it burns. It consumes. It clears. It exposes. And now the fire is touching your spirit, revealing what you were never supposed to forget. You feel it, don't you? The subtle sting behind your chest, the trembling in your belly, the tears that rise without reason. That is not weakness. It is the cracking open of the seal that kept you blind. The truth is surfacing, not just around you but within you. You are not only discovering a revelation, you are becoming one. There are people, systems, powers who erased your truth because they feared the version of you that remembers. They feared the version of you that would dare question their narratives, dare reject their manipulation, dare choose divine truth over human approval. And so, they surrounded you with noise, with criticism, with half-truths, with silence so loud it threatened to mute your own voice. But now, you are reclaiming what was stolen in the shadows. You are reawakening to the fact that your emotional disruption wasn't random. It was targeted. It was weaponized. The enemy tried to torment you into retreat, hoping you would collapse before you uncovered what was buried beneath the chaos. But you did not collapse. You did not disappear. You did not go numb. You are here. And because you are still here, the erasure has failed. The veil is thinning. The mystery is stirring. And yes, questions still hang in the air. Questions that deserve to be asked without fear, to erase the truth. Why did they bury it? What was so dangerous about your knowing that the enemy launched a full-scale emotional assault to keep you in the dark? The answers are near. The veil is lifting. But you must stay present in the mystery. Don't run from the disruption. It is the evidence that heaven is moving. Don't medicate the ache. Let it lead you to the questions they told you not to ask. And when the answers come, they will not arrive softly. They will arrive with fire, with clarity, with holy disruption. Because what was hidden is not just information. It is inheritance. And heaven is no longer willing to let it stay buried. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for prophetic insight, divine revelation, and weekly guidance crafted for your spiritual journey. You felt the fire growing behind the scenes, haven't you? The tension that doesn't show up in words but in atmospheres. The heaviness that settles in rooms where smiles pretend and conversations avoid what's really happening. You've looked around, trying to name what you feel, but in your spirit, you already know. This is more than personal. This is spiritual. This is war. Let the veil be torn now, once and for all, because you cannot walk in power until you understand the battlefield. What has happened to you, what's been thrown against you, whispered about you, plotted behind closed doors, was never random. It wasn't just people turning on you. It wasn't just a bad season. It wasn't just life. It was a direct assignment of darkness designed to break your clarity and confuse your purpose. But hear the voice of Archangel Michael, sent from the throne of justice, declaring over your life, what came to disrupt you will now define you. What was sent to destroy you will become the very reason heaven promotes you. Because the truth is, the conflict wasn't about what you did. It was about who you were. You, beloved, are a carrier of truth. And truth is the one thing darkness cannot tolerate. Truth destabilizes lies. It overturns manipulation. It exposes false foundations and removes the counterfeit from power. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under attack because you were marked as dangerous. The reason the warfare has been so persistent is because you are a vessel of truth, and that truth is weighty, is generational, is prophetic, and it is time-sensitive. The enemy has watched you in silence, studying your patterns, waiting for an opening. But he underestimated something critical, your resilience. You see, he expected you to fold. He expected the silence to break you. He expected the isolation to make you doubt your own voice. And while you may have questioned yourself, while you may have wept in the shadows, you never surrendered your spirit. That is what heaven has seen. That is why the sword of Michael is now drawn on your behalf. Look again at the conflict. It's not just emotional. It's spiritual engineering. Hidden swords have clashed in realms you've never seen. Silent battles have been waged at midnight while you slept. Angelic sentinels have stood around your home. Divine eyes have scanned every room you've entered. You have been watched, by heaven, and by hell. And yet, you remained. You held the line. You kept praying, even when it felt empty. You kept moving, even when the ground beneath you cracked. You kept believing, even when your name was mishandled. That is not weakness. That is divine endurance, the kind forged in fire, refined by trials, and honored by the King himself. Let your soul understand this. The attacks didn't start when you fell. They started when you rose. When you began to awaken to who you really are. When you started to disconnect from the systems designed to blind you. When your spirit started to whisper, "There is more than this." That's when the battle intensified. That's when relationships turned cold. That's when familiar spaces grew hostile. Not because you were wrong, but because you were becoming too right to be ignored. The enemy doesn't target the passive. He targets the potential. And your potential has never been ordinary. There is an anointing on your life that rewrites bloodlines. There is authority in your voice that breaks chains off others. There is revelation in your spirit that threatens the comfort zones of entire communities. You were born to disrupt darkness. And now, you're beginning to see why everything tried to stop you before you knew who you were. But here is the divine reversal. The very war that came to steal your voice has only sharpened your sword. The very confusion that tried to bury your mind has only awakened your discernment. The very abandonment that tried to crush your heart has only deepened your compassion. And so now, the Most High sends his Archangel to remind you, you are not a casualty. You are a combatant. You are not a victim. You are a warrior. Heaven did not allow this season to break you, but to build you for the unveiling that is now at hand. Lift your head. Feel the weight of your calling again. Remember who you are, not in the eyes of others, but in the throne room of God. You are not defined by what happened. You are defined by who sent you. You are a spiritual insurgent sent into enemy territory to reclaim what was stolen. You are heaven's reply to generational silence. You are the voice they tried to erase. And now, the one who holds the flaming sword walks beside you, declaring, "This one is marked. This one is covered. This one is feared in hell. So take heart, child of fire. Take up your mantle. The conflict is not your curse. It is your confirmation. The darkness fears what's waking up inside of you. Type "I am a warrior of light" in the comments if you feel the fire of truth rising in your spirit. Blessing code 1919 is now upon your life. Listen carefully now, because the air has shifted. You can feel it, even if you haven't spoken it aloud. There's a stirring in the unseen. A pressure building behind the veil. Something, or someone, is moving, and not just slowly, not subtly, swiftly, strategically, silently. And I, Michael, messenger of the throne and captain of heaven's armies, have come to warn you. The next 72 hours will hold movement that cannot be undone. What was delayed will start to lock. What was hidden will begin to shake. And what was buried, yes, the truth they tried to erase, will begin to fight its way back into the light. You must be ready. Not with panic, not with fear, but with holy attention. Because the enemy, sensing the breach, sensing the tremor, has already begun to scramble behind the curtain. Agents of confusion are being dispatched. Distractors are being sent to your door. Conversations are being orchestrated to keep your eyes off what's truly shifting beneath your feet. But heaven is revealing it to you now, so that you will not be caught unaware. Hear the urgency in this moment. Within 72 hours, your surroundings will shift, not just spiritually but physically. There are decisions being made behind closed doors with your name in the margins. There are people watching you, some with admiration, others with envy. Some waiting to bless, others hoping to block. And all of it is happening at once because the atmosphere around your life is now under divine acceleration. You may feel a sudden uneasiness, a spiritual pressure. You may notice people from the past reaching out without reason. You may feel unusually tired or unusually stirred. That is not random. It is spiritual static, evidence that something unseen is touching the fabric of your timeline. And here is what you must understand. There is someone who is trying to stop the truth from being shared. Someone who has benefited from the silence. Someone who has built power on the back of your ignorance. Someone who has constructed a reality based on your lack of memory. They fear what happens when you finally speak, when you finally see, when you finally move in alignment with the full truth, not the fragments they allowed you to carry. To expect resistance. Expect sudden delays. Expect weird miscommunications. Not because you're off course, but because you're finally on it. The enemy doesn't war against the uncertain. He wars against the awakened. And you, beloved, are now awakening to a dimension of truth that they were hoping you'd never touch. But it is already happening. The cracks have started. The veil is thinning. And heaven will not allow this unveiling to be paused. Signs will begin to follow you. Unmistakable. Synchronicities align too perfectly to be chance. Lumbers. Dreams. Encounters. Glimpses. Even silence will speak louder than ever before. Do not ignore them. Do not brush them off. These are not distractions. These are confirmations. The Spirit is leading you by patterns that only the awakened can decode. You must become alert. Watch closely in these next 3 days. Journal what you see. Note what feels off. Listen for what isn't said, not just what is. Divine clues are being scattered in your path, and those who are attentive will catch the instructions wrapped inside them. And now the warning deepens. There is already movement in the camp of your opposition. It's already begun. Conversations have started. Screenshots have been shared. Motives have shifted. People are aligning, both for and against you. You may not see it yet in the natural, but in the spirit realm, a gathering is taking place. Can you feel it? That weight in your chest. That stirring behind your eyes. That holy tension that tells you something bigger than you is unfolding. Do not dismiss it. Lean into it. You are sensing the tremors of truth breaking through the soil of time. But not everyone wants the truth to rise. Some would rather preserve their version of events. Some have edited your story for their benefit. Some have rewritten the narrative so many times that they've begun to believe their own lie. And now, your truth, the divine truth heaven sealed inside you, is threatening to unravel every illusion they constructed. So be prepared. Stay grounded. Move with wisdom. And understand this. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being watched because you are next. Next for revelation. Next for release. Next for elevation. Heaven is repositioning you, even as others are trying to restrain you. But no scheme, no lie, no alliance forged in shadows will hold back what God has decreed over your life. Not now. Not anymore. So let this be your holy alert. These next 72 hours will tell you more than words ever could. Watch it. Listen. Discern. And trust that what is shaking is not to destroy you. It is to deliver you. The countdown has already begun. Type "I am awake" in the comments if you sense the shift already moving in your atmosphere. Blessing code 2222 is already releasing divine instruction into your timeline. Now that the warning hath been sounded and the veil torn, you must understand this deeply. Not all movement is obedience, and not all silence is weakness. This is not the time to react. It is not the time to prove your discernment. It is not the hour to confront what heaven is already handling. This is the time for silence, strategy, and sacred separation. Archangel Michael stands not only as the bearer of truth, but also as the guardian of divine timing. He does not swing his sword out of emotion. He waits for the command from the throne. And now that truth has begun to rise, you are called to enter a different posture, not to strive, but to watch. Not to shout, but to document. Not to charge forward, but to withdraw and listen. Hear me now, because this is crucial. Your silence in the coming days will be your covering. Your restraint will be your resistance. Your quiet obedience will release angels on your behalf. The world may want you to react. The enemy may provoke you. Your flesh may cry out to say something, do something, defend yourself, expose others. But heaven says, be still, and I will be God in the matter. Withdraw, not in fear, but in power. Step back from the chaos. Turn down the noise. Fast from unnecessary voices. Let the false urgency of the world fall off your shoulders. This is not the season to explain. This is the season to observe. And while you withdraw into the secret place, know that heaven is not still. Heaven is moving. Heaven is working. Heaven is warring on your behalf. You are not abandoned. You are being hidden. Hidden like Moses before the river. Hidden like David before the throne. Hidden like Esther before the crown. And those who are hidden are not forgotten. They are being fortified. What you carry is too potent, too pure, too precious to be exposed prematurely. So heaven has wrapped you in a cocoon of strategy, a shelter not made with hands, but woven in prayer, silence, and obedience. Write what you hear in the Spirit. Document the dreams. Capture the divine clues. Journal the whispers of God. The Spirit is downloading instructions not for today's drama but for tomorrow's dominion. You must not forget them. You must record them. What you write in this hour will serve as evidence in your next elevation. And above all, do not be afraid. For this is not a time of fear but of fortification. This is not a retreat of weakness, but a withdrawal of power. Heaven fights while you rest. Heaven builds while you trust. The God who sent angels to war over Daniel's prayers is the same God dispatching divine protection over you now. And Archangel Michael, mighty in battle, now encamps around your life, sword drawn, guarding what was hidden from those who would mishandle it. Say this aloud if you dare. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Not a weapon of gossip. Not a weapon of manipulation. Not a weapon of confusion. Not a weapon of delay. For your obedience has summoned protection that the enemy cannot interpret, cannot trace, cannot penetrate. Seal yourself in the secret place. Build an altar in your atmosphere. Light a candle if you must. Create a sacred space, even if it's just a corner of your room. For the next 3 days you are in spiritual quarantine, not because of contamination, but because of consecration. Something holy is happening. Something ancient is returning. And heaven has chosen to reveal it through your stillness. Let this become your rhythm. Breathe deeply. Speak slowly. Woo gently. Nothing must be right. You are walking through the narrow path now, the hallway between revelation and manifestation. And every word you speak, every step you take, will echo in the spirit realm. Be careful. Be wise. Be quiet. There will be temptations to react. Watch for them. Recognize the bait. When the phone rings with drama, decline it. When the text arrives with accusation, delete it. When the urge comes to retaliate, resist it. You are not in the realm of man's justice now. You are under divine jurisdiction. And what is unfolding is bigger than what anyone else can see. Let your soul be still. Let your heart be guarded. Let your mind be renewed daily in truth. Declare your alignment with heaven, even in the quiet. Pray not just to speak, but to listen. Worship, not to perform, but to protect your frequency. You are a temple in transition. You are a vessel in activation. And let the angelic decrees go before you. Speak them aloud if you can. Write them down if you must. I am hidden in the shadow of the Most High. Heaven surrounds me with fire and favor. Every plot against me is scattered by the hand of God. For the one who began this unveiling will also complete it. The one who brought you to this turning point will guard you through it. There is no need to explain yourself. The truth is already speaking on your behalf, and soon it will thunder. So be still. Withdraw. Document. Do not react yet. Let heaven finish what it started. Type "I am covered" in the comments to seal your sacred space. Blessing code 3030 now encircles your home with angelic fire. And now, the atmosphere begins to turn. The winds that once swirled in confusion are quieting. The weight of spiritual warfare begins to lift, not because the battle is over, but because you have shifted. Because something within you has awakened, and heaven has taken notice. The fire that was sent to break you has instead become the forge that is remaking you. You are not the same person you were before the silence, before the spiritual isolation, before the divine withdrawal. Something unshakable has taken root in you, and it's time now to say it aloud, not in arrogance but in holy certainty. I have been transformed by fire. Yes, fire. The very thing you thought would consume you has only refined you. The betrayal that always silenced you, it unlocked your discernment. The confusion that wrapped around your mind like chains, it trained you to hear God more clearly. The rejection that tried to define you, it severed the false from the holy and made room for divine identity to rise. Let the lie be buried now. You were never broken beyond repair. You were being rebuilt in the flames of divine process. Heaven didn't forsake you. It sanctified you. The suffering wasn't punishment. It was purification. You were not losing. You were shedding. What they called weakness was actually a secret strengthening. What they laughed at as loss was heaven's way of removing the unnecessary. You've outgrown the version of yourself they last knew. Let that settle deep into your soul. You have grown it. The you that stayed silent to keep the peace is gone. The you that shrunk in rooms that couldn't handle your anointing has passed away. The version of you that tolerated manipulation, minimized your voice, second-guessed your discernment, that version has been buried beneath the ashes of everything you survived. And what has emerged? A warrior, a seer, a prophet in motion, a vessel of divine fire who refuses to be silenced again. You are rising now, not because someone rescued you, but because heaven resurrected you. You're not walking in someone else's power. You're standing in your own, rooted in God's righteousness, anchored in the unshakable truth that you were always more than what they could see. Let the imagery surround you now. Feel the fire on your skin. See the wings stretching from your back, no longer clipped by fear or wounded by rejection. Feel the crown settling upon your head, not because you chased it, but because it was always yours by divine inheritance. This is the rise of the royal remnant. This is the return of the anointed ones. This is the moment where heaven says, enough. Enough hiding. Enough drinking. Enough bowing to the expectations of those who never carried your calling. You were not meant to fit. You were not made to blend. You were sent as a disruption, a declaration, a divine interruption to cycles that have run unchecked for far too long. And now, as heaven flips the page on this chapter of your life, you must understand, your fire is not a flaw. Your fire is your fuel. Every time you tried to hold it back, it made you sick. Every time you denied what you knew in your gut to be true, it wounded your spirit. But now, you are being given permission to burn. Not to destroy, but to illuminate. Not to harm, but to heal. You are the flame that exposes what was hidden. You are the warmth that revives what was dying. You are the light that reveals paths no one else dared walk. And hear this clearly. You are being honored in the Spirit. The heavens have watched you pass test after test. You didn't retaliate when it would have been easy. You didn't defend yourself when your name was dragged. You didn't abandon your calling when it felt unbearable. You endured. You stayed when others fled. You remained faithful when no one was watching. And for that, the crown fits. So rise now, beloved. Not in pride, but in purpose. You carry the scars, yes, but those scars are now signatures of the sacred. You wear them not as reminders of pain, but as badges of power. You are not less because of what you lost. You are more because of what you survived. You are walking proof that the fire does not consume those who are chosen. It purifies. It elevates. It transforms. And to the enemy that tried to reduce you, hear this prophetic decree. You did not win. You only revealed what was always inside. So lift your head. Straighten your back. Adjust your crown. You are not the same, and that's the point. Heaven has stripped away what was never meant to stay. And now, what remains is holy. What remains is true. What remains is you, in full spiritual authority, ready to reclaim what was stolen, ready to speak what was silenced, ready to shine without apology. Let the world adjust to your elevation. Let the darkness tremble at your return. Let the truth that was hidden now become your sword. Type "I am rebuilt in fire" in the comments to declare your divine rising. Blessing code 888 is igniting your atmosphere now. Now, hear the voice of heaven rising within you. Deep, clear, undeniable. The veil is not only lifting, it is tearing. And beneath it lies the very reason for every storm, every silence, every betrayal, and every sleepless night. You were chosen to carry a revelation too weighty for the unprepared. A truth so potent, it had to be hidden until now. A fire so holy, it had to be protected by pain. This is not random. This is not chaos. This is not coincidence. This is prophecy manifesting. Archangel Michael speaks. This was always meant to be revealed today. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Not when the world understood you. But today, June 19th, the day marked in the Spirit as a divine unlocking. And what is being released is more than memory, more than clarity. What is rising now is the scroll of your destiny, unfolding one line at a time, as heaven declares. You are next in line for divine inheritance. Let that echo in your soul. You. Oh. Next. This truth, this hidden truth that was sealed behind the noise, concealed behind betrayal, buried beneath emotional warfare, is now breaking through. And it is not just about what was done to you. It is not just about what they tried to erase. It is not even about what you survived. This truth is about who you were always meant to become. You see, your life was not just attacked because of your past. It was assaulted because of your prophetic future. The enemy didn't war against your yesterday. You warred against the prophecy embedded in your tomorrow. Because if you ever fully stepped into it, you would become unstoppable. You would become dangerous, not in the eyes of man, but in the eyes of hell. And now, beloved, the timeline is catching up to the vision. The heavens are realigning what was scattered. The years that seemed lost were never wasted. They were guarded. The silence you thought was punishment was actually divine preservation. God didn't forget you. He hung you. And now, the revealing begins. This revelation isn't just about knowing what happened. It's about stepping into why it had to happen. Because this level of anointing only comes through levels of pain that most will never comprehend. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. And now that you endured the furnace, the gold of your calling is being pulled to the surface. Heaven speaks your name. The scroll has been unsealed. The gates have opened. You are being called forward into divine remembrance. The angels have kept record of what man overlooked. The tears you cried into pillows, the prayers you whispered with shaking breath, the moments you stayed when everything in you wanted to run, they were all seen. You have not been overlooked in heaven. In fact, your name has echoed in the throne room. And now, the King sends his word through fire, declaring, I have not forgotten the one I formed in secret. I have not overlooked the one I prepared in silence. Let it shake you. Let it move you. Let it break the last chains of false identity. You are known by name in heaven, not as the rejected, not as the failure, not as the one who never quite fit, but as the revelation carrier, the truth bearer, the one chosen to rise in this hour with clarity others were denied. This revelation will offend some. It will disrupt the false narratives others built around you. It will dismantle systems that once used your silence as permission to continue in darkness. That's why it had to be released at the right time. Today is that time. Today is the divine unveiling. And make no mistake, this truth is about more than your past. It is about your next elevation. It is about territory. It is about authority. It is about the assignment you were born to fulfill, the one the enemy has tried to abort since the moment you took your first breath. He knew it was coming. He saw the angels that circled your crib. He watched the dreams planted in your spirit. And that's why he launched attack after attack, hoping to get you to surrender before the scroll could open. But now it has. And you are still standing. You are still breathing. And more than that, you are ready. Ready to speak what others could not. Ready to walk where others would not. Ready to reclaim what others abandoned. Ready to live in the fullness of who God always intended you to be. Not a version watered down by trauma. Not a shell shaped by shame. But a vessel of fire. Pure, bold, and unstoppable. Heaven smiles upon you now. The eyes of the Lord have turned toward your house. The seal has been broken. The oil is flowing. The inheritance is being distributed. The chains are breaking not just for you, but through you. You are not rising alone. You are rising with every generation that prayed but never saw. Every ancestor that bled but was silenced. Every prophet who carried the vision but never lived to see it fulfilled. You are the answer to their cries. You are the fulfillment of ancient prayers. You are heaven's yes in this generation. If this message speaks to your spirit, and you felt the fire ignite within you, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10 to help us create more messages like this. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for more prophetic revelations, heavenly insight, and timely encouragement crafted specifically for your journey. Type "I am next in line" in the comments to activate the prophecy over your life. Blessing code 555 is opening gates of inheritance now. And now that the seal is broken and the revelation is released, you can no longer remain where you once stood. The truth has shifted the ground beneath your feet, and heaven is now calling you into movement. Not movement of the body, but movement of the spirit. You must understand this clearly. What was revealed to you was not merely to comfort you. It was to activate you. You were not just meant to hear the truth. You were born to carry it, to speak it, to become it in the presence of the very forces that once tried to bury it. There is no more delay. No more hiding. No more waiting for permission from those who never had the authority to release you. The command is clear. Declare. Decree. Decide. The heavens have delivered the scroll. Now the Spirit waits for your voice. This is the moment of holy decision. Not the kind made by logic or fear, but by spirit and truth. You must now choose to say it aloud. Not what they taught you to say, not what you rehearsed in fear, but what heaven has burned into your bones. This is the hour to declare, "I am who God says I am." Say it until it shakes your atmosphere. Say it until every lingering lie is shattered. Say it until your feet align with the path that's already been cleared ahead of you. Because alignment is no longer optional. You cannot walk into your next season with yesterday's posture. You cannot carry heaven's truth with a heart still entangled in human approval. This level of calling demands that you realign with divine instruction and heaven's rhythm. That means you must now walk as the activated one, not just hopeful, but intentional. Not just awake, but engage. And now, the Spirit calls you to speak. Yes, you must open your mouth. No more silence. No more thinking. No more second-guessing. The words you carry were forged in the secret place. They were prayed over by angels. They are not random. They are remnant. Living, breathing declarations that unlock destiny. When you speak what heaven has placed in you, you shift the atmosphere. When you decree what God has whispered, you become a vessel of warfare and restoration. And this is where the power is. The silence is over. The truth that was hidden has been found, and now it must be spoken aloud. Not to prove your worth, but to fulfill your assignment. Because what you speak in this hour will determine the ground you walk on in the next. The heavens are listening. The earth is waiting. Creation itself groans for the revealing of the sons and daughters of God. And now, your voice is needed. It's time to journal again, but not just your pain. And now, write your prophecy. Write your decrees. Write your identity as you now see it through heaven's lens. Speak to your reflection. Breathe to your future. Command your surroundings to realign. Tell your body to heal. Tell your mind to rest. Tell your purpose to rise. You were never meant to live in reaction. You were born to live in command. So decree these words with the authority that comes from heaven itself. I break every false agreement made in fear. I reclaim every truth stolen from my memory. I activate every seed of calling planted before time began. My voice will no longer serve survival. It will serve my assignment. And now, decide. Because destiny doesn't just rise from emotion. It rises through decision. You must decide that today marks the end of wondering. You must decide that your yes to heaven is louder than your fear of being misunderstood. You must decide that you are no longer waiting for affirmation from those who were never assigned to your revelation. Heaven now waits on your yes. This is the holy turning point. This is where angels take record. This is where things shift quickly and permanently. You cannot go back to pretending. You cannot mute your fire. What was awakened in you was not for inspiration. It was for activation. The oil is fresh. The fire is kindled. The assignment has been revealed. Now speak. Now decree. Now step forward in the authority of one who has survived the silence and emerged with fire. You are no longer just the healed. You are now the healer. You are no longer just the restored. You are now the restorer. You are no longer the one searching for truth. You are now the carrier of it. Let the world adjust to the sound of your voice. Let hell tremble at the sound of your footsteps. Let heaven rejoice as you take your rightful place, not behind, not beneath, but in divine alignment with your original design. You are not waiting for destiny to find you. Destiny has been waiting for you to awaken. And now that you are awake, move. Speak. Decide. Rise. Type my yes is sealed in the comments to declare your full alignment. Blessing code 4444 is now unlocking scrolls of divine instruction over your life. There are things happening right now that your eyes cannot see, but your spirit has already begun to feel. A quiet rumble, a subtle shift, a sense that something sacred is unfolding in dimensions beyond the reach of logic or sound. Do not be mistaken. You are not imagining this. You are witnessing a silent exchange in the spirit realm, a divine transaction, a sacred trade, a holy reversal that has already begun on your behalf. While you sleep, while you worship, while you wait in obedience, heaven is moving, and it is moving swiftly. This is not just a moment of breakthrough. It is a moment of divine redistribution. The scrolls of your life are being opened. The records of pain, injustice, and forgotten promises are being read aloud in the courts of heaven. And one by one, angels are being dispatched with verdicts sealed by the hand of the Most High. You see, the truth that was hidden from you was never hidden from God. The betrayal you couldn't prove, the promises people broke in secret, the attempts to erase your voice, they were all recorded. And now, in the presence of angelic witnesses, the exchange has begun. Heaven is trading sorrow for power, confusion for clarity, silence for strategy, and the most sacred trait of all, the fragmented truth you were forced to carry is being exchanged for divine memory. Yes, divine memory, the kind that stretches beyond what your mind could recall. The kind that reconnects you to your original design before the world misnamed you. The kind that remembers who you were before trauma wrote your personality. Heaven is restoring what was erased. Heaven is resurrecting what was buried. And here is the mystery. While you grieved, heaven gathered. While you lost, heaven stored. Every missed opportunity, every stolen moment, every gift suppressed by fear, it has not been discarded. It hath been held in trust, waiting for this exact moment. And now the Spirit whispers, it is time. Time for restoration. Time for recompense. Time for reintroduction, not to the world, but to your true self. The one who heard God clearly before shame interrupted. The one who walked with purpose before betrayal rerouted your path. The one who carried fire before religion tried to tame you. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you've always been. Let this truth settle in you now. Heaven has fought for your memory. Angels have battled over your identity. Ancestral intercessors, those who walked before you in prayer and sacrifice, have cried out for this moment. The moment where you no longer live beneath your spiritual inheritance. The moment where you no longer carry the weight of confusion. The moment where the erased pages of your calling are rewritten by the very hand of God. And you must know this, deeply and without doubt, nothing is lost. Not the time, not the tears, not the truth. Every moment of agony was storing power. Every delay was storing weight. Every hidden truth was gathering momentum. And now, like a river that has reached its tipping point, it is breaking through. You may not see the fullness yet, but pay attention to the sudden signs. Divine reversals that happen out of nowhere. Conversations that bring clarity you didn't expect. Encounters that stir your spirit without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that heaven has been bartering in your absence, exchanging pain for purpose, confusion for commission, silence for authority. Your name has been whispered in the Spirit, and with that name has come instruction, assignment, activation. The realm of the Spirit recognizes you, not by your mistakes, but by your mantle, not by your trauma, but by your truth. And that's why the warfare intensified. That's why the emotional disruptions became unbearable. The closer heaven came to fulfilling the exchange, the louder hell tried to interrupt it. But it's too late now. The verdict has already been passed. The enemy no longer holds legal grounds. The silence has been broken. The record is being rewritten. And this writing is not just about justice. It is about placement. You are being positioned for what belongs to you. Not just spiritually, but relationally, financially, emotionally. Territories are being shifted. Names are being mentioned. Doors that were shut without cause are now being reopened by divine order. The old truth, what you knew, what they knew, what was twisted, is being removed from the altar. And now, new truth is taking its place. The truth that you are anointed. The truth that you are seen. The truth that what was denied is now being returned multiplied. This is not just restoration. It is realignment. You are no longer under their control. You are no longer confined by their silence. You are no longer stuck in the chapter they wrote without your permission. The pen is back in heaven's hand, and the story is being authored by truth. And hear this now, heaven is not asking for permission. It is fulfilling a promise. The exchange has already happened. You don't need to strive. You only need to receive. So stand still in this holy height. Feel the shift. Sense the fire. Know that while your natural world may look the same, your spiritual reality has completely transformed. You have just crossed over. From forgotten to remembered. From erased to reinstated. From silence to scroll. Type I receive the exchange in the comments to confirm the divine transaction. Blessing code 999 is now active, sealing your name into the scroll of spiritual authority. Now comes the moment that heaven has been preparing. The moment every battle has led you toward. The moment your spirit has waited to see but never knew how it would come. The scales of divine justice are tipping in your favor. This is not merely healing. This is not only closure. This is reversal. Supernatural reversal. Prophetic reversal. Eternal reversal. And it begins now. You are not forgotten. You were watched. You were not forsaken. You were fortified. The pain was permitted because the justice would be undeniable. The silencing was allowed because the reversal would thunder. This moment has been written in heaven's courts, etched beside your name, sealed by fire, and delivered now with weight. You are stepping into a divine reckoning. And it is not fueled by revenge. It is fueled by righteous restoration. Let every lie fall silent now. Let every manipulative voice be drowned by the roar of the lion. You have been quiet long enough. You have been the one who took the high road. You swallowed your words. You let them say what they pleased. You let them smear what they couldn't understand. You let the false story spread because heaven told you to wait. But heaven never told you justice wouldn't come. Heaven told you to be still because justice was already moving. And now, the reversal is here. This is not karma. This is not man's retribution. This is holy justice, measured, weighty, final. This is the kind of justice that only comes from the judge of all creation. The kind that doesn't just balance the scales, it flips them. The kind that doesn't just repay what was stolen, it multiplies it. The kind of justice where those who erased your name are forced to witness your rising. They thought your silence was weakness. They mistook your restraint for defeat. They believed the lie they told about you would become your legacy. But now God says, the one they erased, I will exalt. The one they wouldn't, I will walk with. The one they cast aside, I will crown. Let the reversal begin. Let every place where your name was mishandled now be exposed. Let every door that was shut out of jealousy now swing open by divine decree. Let every resource withheld, every opportunity denied, every whisper behind your back now become fuel for your fire. You are not rising with bitterness. You are rising with the evidence of God's justice. Heaven's justice doesn't just repay its rights. It takes what was meant to be file and reopens the case. It takes what was marked finished and breathes new breath into it. And now, God is rewriting the chapters where men tried to silence your testimony. There are things that happen behind your back that you'll never need to confront. There are lies told about you that you'll never need to correct. There are plots formed against you that will never see daylight, not because you fought them, but because God overturned them in the Spirit. Let your heart be still, because the reversal will be public. Those who tried to profit from your pain will watch your platform rise. Those who sowed seeds of slander will see you hardest favor. Those who mistook your collapse for your conclusion will see you emerge with crowns they can't explain. This is not for your ego. This is not for applause. This is for glory, God's glory for your story. And yes, the silence was sacred. It wasn't just absent. It was protection. It was power. It was proof that you trusted God more than you needed vindication. You kept quiet, not because you had nothing to say, but because you understood. Heaven speaks louder. And now heaven is speaking for you. Watch as things begin to turn without your effort. Watch as doors open with no striving. Watch as invitations come with no explanation. This is what it feels like when the king repays. This is what it feels like when the one who owns the timeline rearranges what men tried to cancel. This is what it feels like when the scales are tipped, not by force, but by favor. It is your time now. Not because you manipulated it, not because you networked for it, but because heaven decreed it. And when heaven decrees a thing, no demon in hell can delay it. You are walking into divine compensation. You are stepping into holy recognition. You are being elevated in places that once shut their doors in your face. And for those who thought you were finished, let them watch. Not to gloat, not to retaliate, but to witness the hand of God make all things new. The reversal has already begun. You may not see it fully yet, but you'll feel the shifts, the tension lifting, the timing aligning, the clarity returning. You'll feel the tables turning, not slowly but swiftly. You'll feel your spirit walk lighter. Your prayers will sound different. Your dreams will become clearer. Why? Because you are no longer under their narrative. You are living in heaven's redemption. And to the enemy who tried to erase your destiny, you failed. Heaven has reversed the verdict. And now, the story belongs to God. The platform belongs to purpose. The glory belongs to the King. And you, beloved, are walking proof that nothing done in darkness can outlast what is ordained in light. If this message confirmed what you feel rising in your spirit, consider sowing a seed through Super Thanks with contributions up to $5. Your support helps us continue to bring powerful revelations like this into your life. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for deeper prophetic teachings, divine alignment tools, and regular uploads crafted for your spiritual journey. Type "I am living the reversal" in the comments to receive the fullness of this justice. Blessing code 1212 is now opening gates of holy restoration over your life. And now, the wind begins to still. The storm is silent. The fire has done its work. The veil hath been torn and truth has risen. And what remains is not chaos, not confusion, not fear, but clarity, peace, power, presence. Heaven stands as witness, and I, Michael, servant of the Most High, speak this final word not just as a messenger, but as a guardian of your becoming. You are sealed in truth and chosen for impact. Let every part of you hear this. You were never forgotten. You were never random. You were never left behind. Though the lies came like waves, though darkness tried to speak louder, though the silence weighed heavily on your chest, you were always held in the hands of the Almighty. What felt like delay was divine orchestration. What felt like emptiness was sacred preparation. What you thought was rejection was redirection to your royal seat. The truth was never lost. It was only hidden. Hidden for the right time. Hidden for the right alignment. Hidden for the version of you that could finally hold the weight of it without running, without breaking, without giving it away to the wrong hands again. You see now, don't you? If this had come sooner, you may have given it away. You may have let someone twist it. You may have settled. But now you are ready. You are rooted. You are walking in power, not just to speak the truth, but to embody it. What was once fragmented is now forming. What was once erased is now remembered. And what was once hidden hath been unveiled in glory. You are not merely carrying revelation. You have become the revelation. You are not simply restored. You are now restored. You are not just healed. You are heaven's healing in motion for others still bound in silence. I say this to your spirit now. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. Seen by the God who knit you in secret, by the angels who have warred for you since your first breath, by the witnesses who have watched and wept, cheering for your victory from the cloud of glory. Seen in places where they dismissed you. Seen in seasons where you hid your tears. Seen in your full, radiant becoming. Sealed, not with man's approval, but with heaven's decree. Sealed with oil. Sealed with fire. Sealed with destiny that no one can alter, no hand can undo, no voice can revoke. You are marked for divine impact, clothed in a mantle of truth that will remain unshaken through every room you enter, every word you speak, every life you touch. Sent, not out of fear, not with unfinished healing, not with questions still hanging in the air, but sent in strength, sent in sacred identity, sent with a sword forged in silence and revelation. You do not move alone. You move with angels assigned. You do not walk empty. You carry scrolls from the throne. You do not wander aimlessly. You are commissioned, and your steps are now ordered by divine light. So receive now the final blessing from heaven's throne. Let this word cover you like a garment. Let it burn on your chest like a seal. Let it echo through your blood like a rhythm of fire. May your eyes forever remain open to the whispers of heaven. May your ears remain sensitive to the sound of truth through the noise of men. May your heart remain soft to the spirit and firm against every lie that tries to return. May your feet be guided only by purpose, not pressure. And may the truth that has been restored to you never be diluted, never be devalued, never be delayed again. You are the evidence that what is hidden will not remain buried forever. You are the testimony that God redeems what man erases. You are the proof that silence is not the absence of movement, but often the setup for the greatest reveal of all. Walk forward now, child of fire. Walk forward knowing you carry more than clarity. You carry consequence. When you enter a space, things will shift. When you speak, the atmosphere will listen. When you pray, angelic assignments will be activated. You will not walk alone, and you will not walk in confusion. You will walk in revelation. This chapter is not the end, it is the ignition. The days ahead are not to be feared, they are to be embraced. You are not returning to what was, you are walking into what always was in heaven's eyes. The scroll has been opened. The codes have been released. The truth has returned. Breathe now. Rest now. Let peace reign. Heaven has spoken, and heaven does not lie. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. Amen. Type "I am sent" with power in the comments to seal this final blessing. Lesson code 000 is now cloaking you in divine confirmation and clarity.